All right, we're back working on the ZX9 today. Finally wrote it. It's rideable, I guess you could say, other than a few coolant issues, which that's what we're going to address today. But we got the front brakes on. Those are from a ZX14. So if you have a 06 through 07 ZX10, the Tokuko calipers are really tough to bleed. Super hard. These are been shaved and powder coated gold, of course, but these are what your caliper should look like, just not gold. So really tough to bleed, and a great upgrade is the Nissan from the ZX14. I think this is a 2013. So, and luckily, banging deal. I think they're 50 bucks, and they came with the gaffer, steel braided lines, and I had to make something work up here, but whatever. So today, I'm gonna be putting the back brake on, or back brake caliper. And also, in case most of y'all don't know what all these switches are on here, that if you have a B model or even a ZX7, this is the fan switch, this is the temperature switch, and this is a thermostat. So all of these will be getting replaced today because after running and getting pretty warm, it boils the coolant, and that's it. It pushes it through the reservoir and end up leaking eventually. Fan doesn't kick on. I put power to the fan. I know the fan works, but I can't get it to work right. So I have no idea what is that. So I just went ahead and bought all new stuff to limit or to rule out everything, basically. So quick update on this. I found that Muzzy and the high mount, 20 bucks. Banging deal. I made the bracket, but that's beside the point. But I've always wanted a high mount exhaust, and there we go. I love the look. This is what it usually looks like. Kind of a lower mount, just kind of basic, mount looking, but this looks sweet to me anyways. So this one actually has rear brake problems also. You see the caliper is off. I was riding home the other day, and this pin, let me put this down. This pin that goes right here, it goes through both brake pads, and has a little circlip in there. That pin fell out. One of my pads fell out. Luckily, it didn't lock up my back tire, but whatever. Let me get this up on a stand. Actually, no. I'm just going to drain the coolant directly out of here into something clean, because that is good coolant, and I will reuse it. And I'll be back with you. All right, we're back. So this is the drain bolt for your coolant. So I'm just going to pop that off, let the coolant drain. I'm also going to go ahead and, while we're up, pop this off. If not, it kind of creates a vacuum and just takes forever. It will still drain, but it just takes forever. So this way, you get one of those 7 AMPs. You ain't peed all night long, you wake up and it's just a freaking geyser. So I'm going to try to film this and also not spill everything at one time. Just like that. And you gotta plug it. Son of a gun. There's the 8mm in there. Sorry, I went upside down. Just hold on. Stupid. All right, and we're back again. Holy smokes, that was a mistake. The 8mm that dropped in there, which is fine, not a big deal, but it plugged up the hole, like it perfectly plugged it up. So, split a little coolant, not a big deal. Will be cleaned up. But you got to drain this so you can get to everywhere else. And I went ahead, I'm sure some of y'all seen, I went ahead and put it on a stand because all the sensors that I have to deal with anyways is they're all up high, so it's not like I'm going to be losing any coolant. Really, I mean, even if you didn't want to drain it all, you definitely could just drain it, for a couple seconds, and it would be fine. Just waiting for this to drain a little more. Hold you right here with the infamous 8mm bolt. Put that in with 2 fingers I don't ever use. Okay. Tighten her up. Alright. I'm sure most of y'all seen all junk because I forgot the washer that goes in there that seals it up. Hopefully it don't leak. I'm sure most of y'all have seen. I use a impact for everything. I mean, I don't care what it is. I know it's bad news for everybody. Everybody has their own opinion on impacts, and you shouldn't use them on this and that, but I don't care. I haven't broke not one bolt yet. Not one. So, I guess once that happens, I'll rethink my approach, but probably not. Because I have gotten lazy. Oh, growing up, trust me, I was using ratchets. Not now. Alright, next thing. I'm going to pop this off. This little rubber thing. This is actually the first motorcycle, and I've had a few of them. They had this radiator and this thing, this sensor, but the first one that has ever had this little rubber thing. Pretty weird. So, a couple of things when replacing that. You can use regular Teflon tape to seal that up, of course. I guess maybe high temp would work, but I just use regular. I'll show you what I use actually here in a minute. Let me hold this so I don't fall down. This. Alright. So back over here. Grab the sensor. I use liquid Teflon thread sealant. I've used it in heads, on trucks. I've used it about everywhere, and it has never really leaked on me. And this does have an O-ring on it, just like this one does. But what do you want? You want possible coolant leak, or a little bit of thread sealant whenever you pull it out to clean it. I'm gonna take the thread sealant because I hate leaks. I hate leaks with a passion. So a little bit of liquid thread sealant, and I guess honestly the tape would probably be a little cleaner in the long run. But this is what I got on hand. I'm gonna have the other stuff also, but come on, there we go. And just like that. And it doesn't really matter the orientation of those little prongs. But I'm gonna do it just like that. And I'm gonna put those back on. Alright, now that is the fan switch. Take this off. That is to let the fan know, hey, it's time to come on because the bike's getting hot. Owner don't want to replace the head gasket, so I'll go ahead and come on. So we're gonna get that one replaced. This one's probably still good. Hopefully, I don't know if the fan kicks on after all this, I'll throw away everything I have because something out of the is bad. I had this one as a spare. I'm fairly positive this came off a bike that that the fan worked, but who knows? So next, this next one doesn't have an O-ring, and you will have to use some kind of thread sealant. Okay, X is in the way, but whatever. We'll get it done. All right, this one As you can tell, it has some thread stuff hanging out already, but that is actually the tape, not this liquid stuff. It's a 12. Well, I have to use two hands. 1 second. All right, so this is actually the original one, I do believe. It's broken off like most of them do. I have two ZX9 thermostat housings, and both of them are broken off. They're little tabs to put your wire on. So if you don't have that tab, you can just touch your wire to the tip of it, and yes, it will work. But it won't work long term because you can't do that while you're riding. So I'm going to put some thread sealant on here, put it back in, and I'll be back with you. Well, talking wise, I'm gonna keep filming, but I can't do this with one hand. Alright, these parts, in case anybody are wondering, they're from like Caltech or Caltrex or whatever. If you type in on eBay, I buy all my parts from eBay, regardless of what anybody thinks of it. ZX9 or even ZX7, I found them both because they're all the same. ZX9 or ZX7 fan switch. You can type in thermostat. You can type in quite a bit and it will all come up. I'm gonna leave it just like that because I like the way that looks. Swing this wire around. Cool, just like that. And now it will read temperature. But Caltech or Caltrex or hell, I don't know. Just type in, like I said, ZX7 fan switch or thermostat, one of the two, and it will pull it up. It'll be like one of the first 2 or 3. And I wish I had my bag left, but I don't. I've already tossed it out. I'll look it up on eBay for y'all. The next is the thermostat, the actual thermostat that's inside this housing. Right here. So let me pull this up real fast and I will show you. Right here. Caltech. I don't know. All right, this right here. Make sure y'all can see. Yeah. So that's where I bought it from. That company. Make sure it doesn't show my. They don't. But those are the things that I bought. You know, brand new. They're fairly cheap. Thermostat for some reason is kind of pricey, but who cares? So I'm going to put y'all down because this is not a hard process. I'll walk you through it. What I'm going to do. Just take this off or loosen it. Well, loosen it. Loosen this one. You're gonna pop this one off up top. Swivel this around so it's out of the way completely. 2 8mm bolts. This one and there's one over there. You're gonna pop this off. This whole cover's gonna come off. There is an O-ring in there. Make sure you have that O-ring. Well, it'll either fall or it'll be just flat. If it's flat, you're gonna need another one. The one that I have doesn't really fit. I have stretched it to make it fit and then just put it down real quick and snugged it up. It doesn't leak, but it works. And then repeat the process. You're gonna drop your thermostat in with the. You're gonna drop it in like this. It's gonna go straight in down, go straight on down. Put the cap back on top of it, tighten it back down, and you're in business. Of course, put the hose back on. Now bleeding the air, I've never had a problem with it. I've always just started it while running. I fill it up with antifreeze. It bubbles a couple times and you're done. I put a little bit in the coolant reservoir because it will suck, or put in there if it needs. Somehow, I have no idea how it works, but it'll pull out of that and put it in there if it need be. But as long as you, while running, you see it here flowing, then you're good. But that's it for this little video. I appreciate all who's watching. Not really sure what I'm going to title it, but something catchy. ZX9 blows up or something. Just kidding. We'll talk to you later. Alright, we're back. Sorry, it's been a while. She ran for a long time. Finally, the fan kicked on. Finally. It should go off pretty soon. Hopefully. We'll find out. But hey, fan kicks on. That's all I cared about. I forgot I was going to, I told you I was going to install this also. I will, in the same video. So let me let this thing cool off, because I got to pull off this exhaust just so I can get to it a little easier, but then I will. All right, last little project of the day is to put the rear caliper on. Exhaust isn't very hot. But it has expanded. So, let me get the hammer. Always have one of these in your shop. It's like a plastic rubber top deal. Right off. All right. So, cool thing about the ZX10 stuff, I guess every bike, I think. For sure the ZX10 stuff, just like that one over there, at the bottom you can see 2 bolts. And the caliper can come off. You don't have to pull off this whole freaking axle, because I promise you it is a ridiculous task to do altogether. So, bought this off of eBay, pads are shot, which is not a problem. I don't really care about that. I care about the caliper. Piston is kind of pushed out. Not a problem. Just a pair of these. And if your caliper doesn't need a rebuild, it should slide just like that. It shouldn't bind up, shouldn't do anything. Just slide right in there, done. So now you can place your pads in there. I'm going to hold it with my mouth because, well, can't do it. These are used pads, but they're both EBC. It'll be all right. Well, that was my daughter. She doesn't know how to listen. But regardless, that pin goes in here and it holds it, so now it can't fall out. And then what holds that pin in is a cotter pin. So, get your ratchet. Spin it to where you can see the hole, and then slide it in there. I'm sure that's out of focus, but I can see. So, and that's it. I like to kind of spin it. 1 second. I mean, I know it's going to vibrate and stuff, but I like to kind of spin it to where that cotter pin is kind of crooked, so at least it can't just fall out immediately. All right, and then what you see me doing there, there's that little metal, you can't see it anymore, there's a little metal piece in there that kind of holds the pads in there. And I just moved it so it can slide all the way back. And then that's it. I'm gonna put it on there and I'm gonna bolt it up. Alright, looking in the manual, the torque specs are, 1 second, just kidding, we don't do that around here. Give it a full squeeze of the trigger and she's done. Pull it back off, that's it, that's all you do. Then you run your line, just like that, boom, done. Which, I guess I'll do that right now. One here, you always want to do the crush washers inside and out, and of course if you have them new, go ahead and use them new, you know. But I have always used used ones, unless of course I buy the rebuild kit, then I put the new ones on there. But if they're used and I don't have new ones, I'm using the used ones. It's not a big deal. That bolt is a 12. I always like to, we'll try to thread it by hand all the way in. Click, click, done. Torque to spec also. Don't leave nothing unturned here. That's it. I'm gonna bleed the brakes, and that's gonna be physically impossible to do while filming, even with the camera in the mouth. So that's basically what I wanted to show everybody today. Was just kind of an update on the ZX9 and just a little few parts added. And you can tell, so when I ran it, I don't know if I have a blown head gasket or what. It's not leaking antifreeze inside the oil, so I'm not 100% sure about that just yet. But this thing while running, it fills it up almost, and I don't know if it's supposed to do that or not. I haven't quite figured that out yet. But before the fan kicked on and before I had a new thermostat, it would overflow it. But now the fan kicks on, brand new thermostat, it works wonders now. I guess it opens and closes like it should. And that's it. I'm gonna get off of here, and I guess I'd like to ride this a little bit today. I haven't done very many miles on it, but the carb's definitely out of adjustment, seeing as I have a full exhaust and a Canon air filter. Pops on decel, I think it's too rich. I can smell it, but the pops on decel tells me that could be too lean, but it also could be just a lot rich, and it's still throwing fuel at it while on decel. But we'll get that figured out, and once I do that, I'll get back on here and kind of tell you what I did there. So I'll talk to y'all later.